Okay, here we are. We're back.
Yeah.
This is version 2 of the myth busting. I'm Rick Sorensen. This is Greg Camp. This is Healthier Ever After, the podcast. And we are talking about lifestyle changes that lead to health ever after.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've been busting some myth last week. We just ran out of time, and we don't want to make these episodes just way too long. So we're going to continue our myth busting. This is a podcast for informational and educational purposes only. We do hope that you talk to your medical provider before starting any weight loss program, dietary supplement, diet regimen, activity, anything. Talk to your doctor. But we hope that we have some helpful things you can discuss with them.
Sure. Generate, hopefully even just topics to generate that discussion, to be a little more pointed with your medical provider. Sometimes you don't always know which questions to ask, and hopefully you'll get enough information here to where you really know what your aim and focus is, and then you can really cater your medical visits to that.
Yeah. All right, ready? Well, let's just dive in.
Yeah.
Continue our myths.
Continuing on.
All right, myth. Starvation mode. Eating too little stalls weight loss. So the myth is if you eat too little, your metabolism shuts down, so you stop losing entirely. You have to eat more to lose.
So this is energy in, energy out. And so the myth is, right, obviously, if this were the case, the starving kids in Africa, like they'd all be fat, right? Because they don't eat enough.
Right.
So it's like, yes.
I mean, metabolism does adapt.
Yes.
And we've talked about this, and we'll talk about it more. It does adapt down with weight loss, but it does not fully stop.
It doesn't stop. I mean, you have to still, your heart has to beat, your lungs have to run. I mean, you're always going to have that base metabolic burn, even if it's lower as you lose weight and or you're eating less calories, because there is that metabolic adjustment. The truth is that if you're eating too little, you will continue to still lose weight. But there is a but in all of these, right? We're always going to give our perspective, real world. I found that a lot of people that end up doing this whole not eating enough, a lot of times the reason why their weight loss stalls is because they just don't feel like moving or doing anything because their energy is so horrible.
Yeah.
So it's not that, they're still going to lose weight and things like that, but most of your weight loss in that case, especially if you're starving yourself, you're not going to be able to maintain good muscle mass,
right?
Which is why you also have that metabolic down, because your muscles, as we're going to get into with our insulin stuff that we're going to talk about in future episodes, your muscles are your primary driver of how insulin and glycogen and all that stuff just work together. And so unfortunately with something like this it's like, yes, the myth is that, yes, you, like almost like you can't starve. You're going to gain weight if you don't eat. No, that's not the case. What it is that you will continue to lose weight, but arguably your energy is going to be less. Some of that weight you're going to lose is going to be the good stuff, which is not what anyone wants to lose. And so, I mean, I don't know. It is a myth. You can still lose weight if you starve yourself, essentially, but I don't recommend it.
Well, so yeah, I agreed. And when we talk about like eating less versus starvation mode, it's a real thing, but it's overestimated. And I think the way to think about this is that your body adjusts, and it will adjust down. And as you lose weight, your resting metabolism is lower. We've talked about that quite a bit. But the way to think about it is your body turns down a dial. It doesn't flip an off switch.
Yeah.
Right. So there are some adjustments that are helpful to be aware of, and your body does adapt a little bit, but it's not like turning off metabolism. It's just dialing down a little bit. And those are some adjustments that you then can adapt to as well.
Yeah. I'll tell a quick story that I just thought of as you were talking about that. And it was just more so, and hopefully it kind of correlates here. It's just sometimes I think of kind of experiences with patients and so hopefully this will kind of help with that. So I had a patient that was coming to see me for a little while, and she actually ended up getting on a GLP-1 medication and did look quite well for a little while. She was losing weight and feeling pretty good. And then she really the weight loss just stopped, and she'd come in for a couple months, and despite adjusting her dose and really hitting home those lifestyle changes with protein and even talking about time of eating, or, just to see if she's getting that late night creep or whatever. It didn't seem to matter what we talked about. She just seemed to be stalled out. And you know, at first it seemed, she's like, I just don't understand how I'm stalled out. I order in a meal, usually like just the pre-ordered meals that are like supposed to be full of protein and nutrients and all that stuff. And she's like, and I only eat half of one of those a day. I'm like, that's all you're eating? Like just like
The entire day
of a prep meal a day? She's like, yeah, it's maybe around 500 to 600 calories max. And I'm not really eating anything else. So I just don't know how I'm not losing weight. And I'm sitting there like, this myth being true, I'm like, you can't you can't not be losing weight. And she was like, she was in her 200 plus pounds. So it wasn't like we were trying to lose weight at 120 pounds.
Right.
She had weight to lose. So this just didn't make any sense to me. So sometimes when you hear a myth like this, and so I start diving into her after a few months, and she's frustrated and like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I'm not even losing any weight, and I don't even eat anything. What do you want me to do? Eat nothing? And so I dove into more of a day-to-day schedule with her. Like, what are you doing day to day? And what I was able to get out of that is that she was only during the week, usually Monday through Friday, eating half of a planned meal per day. And then would absolutely destroy this over the weekend. Cause I was like, well, we talk about Monday through Friday all the time. And then like through the weekend, she was like, I'm like, hey, what do you do on the weekend? Let's talk about your weekends. Oh, we usually travel on the weekends. We almost rarely stay home, and we usually travel and we go here and we do this, we do that. I'm like, so you're not doing your planned meals on those. Those are meals that you prep at home. So what are you doing when you're traveling? Oh yeah, we'll just stop at the gas station. We'll do here. We used to go out to eat. And so what we were finding is that she was truly pretty much starving herself all week long. I mean, like, I don't want to say starve, but really under on the
severely
calories.
restricting her calories.
But then on the weekends, she was going way, and I mean way over on the calories, but she was so hyper focused on the 5 days she wasn't eating anything.
Yeah, it's not accomplishing anything.
Yeah, and then on the weekend, she's like eating, not just overeating on the calories, but eating all the bad stuff, right? I mean, gas station food and eating out and overeating. And so what was happening is that she was dialing down that switch, right? Like you said, you don't turn it off, but she's dialing it down all week. So I turn my metabolism to the lowest possible place it can be.
And then I just slam it with calories, and it doesn't know what to do.
Other than store that. So we literally added more calories back into her daily diet. So I was like, look, like you're just eating too little during the week, and you're overeating on the weekend and all the bad stuff. I want you to try to find that if you bring up all the calories across the board to 1,200 calories, so you're not starving yourself and feeling less energetic and really malnourished during the week. And we level this off to where you don't have these big spikes on the weekend. What happened? Came in the next month, she's down 12 pounds. Bam. Came in the next month, she's down 8 pounds. And so it was just awesome to watch that. And it was just, once we figured that out, and I really think that's where this comes in. It's like she was intermittently starving herself essentially. But then going so overboard on the weekends when they would travel, and she wasn't really perceiving that as a problem, but she had dialed her metabolism back so far and then really just hiked up those calories on the weekends. So yes, you can't, and I know that was a little bit off topic, but it really just,
that's a good story.
It speaks to just actually your body does pretty dang good with actually a little bit more level.
No, we talked about that. In fact, I remember having a conversation with you with a couple of patients about the same thing. It was just a matter of like, what's going on? We hit this plateau, and it really was just a matter of like, let's just take a step back and just watch for a week or two. What is happening? Weekdays, weekends, night, morning, and really it was very enlightening to them to see, oh, you know what? Yeah, we are cheating quite a bit.
Yeah.
The things that they were not really aware of or paying attention to.
So true. And I really just think it comes down to starvation mode. We're saying myth. Okay. So on its face, scientifically, we're saying that you don't stop burning all calories when you're starving. Like there's no such thing as gaining weight while you're under eating. But what there is that your metabolism and your metabolic system will adapt and adjust. Your body is meant to adjust for times of feast and famine. And at feast, you'll gain weight, and in famine, you will lose weight, but your body really shuts down the metabolism to not burn any excess calories. And so you need to be kind of aware of like not having these huge spikes throughout the week or the month that you're like, hey, I don't hardly eat anything. Well, and I'm not losing weight. Why am I not losing weight? Or I'm gaining weight.
Yeah.
The problem is that you've downregulated your metabolism, and really like you're way overshooting the mark at very specific times. And so your body is just, it can't lose weight that way, not effectively. And your energy is going to be bad. And most likely your nutritional profile, as far as getting all the nutrients you need, is probably going to be pretty horrible too.
Yeah. Okay.
So rant over.
Rant over on the starvation mode myth. All right. Next myth. This is similar, I think, but maybe a little tweak on the opposite end. Small, frequent meals stoke your metabolism. So eating 6 small meals keeps the metabolic fire burning faster than 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
That's a myth. What's the reality? Like,
absolutely. I mean, we tried this, right? There was a good time period when this was the thing. Oh, wait, you mean I need to eat 3 or 4 more meals in the day? That's my problem, is I'm not eating enough.
I need to eat 6 small meals.
Yeah, just 6 small meals, and then I'll keep my metabolism fired up all day. It is so minimal. You will increase your metabolism slightly when you eat a meal. It's never equivocal to what you actually overate, right? And I'm sorry, but you go try it. You go do an experiment for a week. You go eat 6 meals in a day and tell me if you can still reach or be under your calorie goals. Good luck.
And some people do. And honestly, so here's the tweak on the myth, the slight reality, the little kernel of truth is that, the thermic effect of food is the same. 6 small meals, 3 large meals, given the same total calories in a day, it's going to have the same effect. But behaviorally speaking, there are some people that do a little better controlling their hunger with more frequent, smaller meals.
Yeah.
And for some people that works a little better, and they feel less hunger throughout the day, having frequent, smaller meals rather than like kind of 3 sit down, bigger meals. Yeah. So it's not that it's stoking the metabolism, but it is a way that some people find it helpful to manage hunger.
Yeah.
And therefore maintain the calorie deficit that they're trying to get.
I think the reason I'm so passionate about this one, and the reason I kind of got going off on my tangent about how it doesn't work for people in a lot of cases, it actually does for some people, like Rick was talking about, how it really helps kind of settle that, so they're not over.
Yeah. But it's nothing to do with the calories. So
I think it's like what he pointed out, and what I should have really started with is it's if you do it mindfully. But I think what happened when this all got really popular, and the theory was like, well, you're just not, you're really not getting that metabolic fire going enough times in a day. So if you eat 6 times in a day, the problem is that people were eating 6 times in a day, but it wasn't smaller amounts. So do you know what I mean? It was like, yes, they took the whole, eat 6 times a day, but they never reduced the amount.
Right.
Now you're just having 6 meals in a day. Like, look, I eat 6 meals a day, and I'm going to get skinnier because
I'm going to eat half of a cookie, a crumble cookie.
Yes.
6 times a day rather than.
It's just, that was my problem with it, because it wasn't being mindfully like, I'm going to eat really small meals. Like these are going to be like sustaining meal, like high protein, high good fat meals, because that's what we know is.
And being very cautious about quantity, because if you're doing 6 instead of 3, your quantity needs to be at least half less. Like it's, So you're right. I think that mindfully, doing it very intentionally, very deliberately, is kind of a key on that.
So if it works for you, great. But the myth is that just doing that alone is going to cause weight loss. It's not. It's going to be your overall intake.
Yeah. And if it works for you, it's not because your metabolic fire is burning hotter and longer in the day. It's because eating, you're managing your hunger.
You're
better,
consuming,
guys.
yeah, and you're consuming less.
And you're
And,
consuming less.
you know,
overall.
we find on a total side note, unrelated to this myth, but actually the one thing I do love about the smaller meals more frequently throughout the day tends to be with on the GLP-1, since you do slow
Yeah.
down your gastric emptying. You find that a lot of people, frankly, just can't eat that much at one sitting.
Yeah.
Yet we are always advocates of making sure you're not nutritionally void. We're, as Rick famously said, we want a calorie restriction, not a nutritional restriction, or
calorie deficit, not
not
a
a nutritional,
nutritional
yeah.
deficit.
And it's so true. And so if it just means that you're not able to eat enough at one sitting for some of our GLP-1 patients, this is a beautiful setup, because the GLP-1 really doesn't allow them to overeat typically. And so they can eat those smaller meals in a day, but just a reminder that these are 6 smaller meals in a day, not 6 full-size meals in a
As
day.
much as you can. Yeah.
Yes. And it's not the metabolic burn.
And it's
that
not
is
the metabolic
working
burn that does it. That's, I think, the myth. that
So
we're
myth
talking about.
busted.
Busted. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Myth. I think we're on number 7 if we go back and count the ones from last week and then this. So crash diets and detoxes are the fast track. So like a rapid crash diet or a juice cleanse is an efficient way to lose fat.
I am so passionate.
I know you well enough that, like, what, even for me to say that, when I say, I just read that little, like a little snippet that I wrote down on this myth about crash diets and juice cleanses and how it's efficient. I like just saying that, watching you, I can just see like the smoke coming out of your eyes and ears, like, whoa, this is so wrong.
It's just, how many times are we going to repeat this stuff? Like, not we, but I mean, how many times as a society are we going to do a cleanse or a liver cleanse or a detox or a parasite cleanse or a bowel cleanse or the juicing? I mean, how many times are we going to, have you ever met someone that's done just those things alone? And it was like, that was it.
And that fixed it.
That fixed it. Never. It's never. I'm saying with confidence, I've talked to hundreds of patients that have done all of these things. And the truth is that the reason I love it when people talk about this is because I know that they're looking into trying to help fix something, right? The idea that they care about their health enough to where they'll do these crazy juice cleanses. Like, if you can,
it works. Short term, the number on the scale decreases.
Yep.
Most of that is water and glycogen and this aggressive restriction.
Yes.
Also, it's fat and muscle.
Yeah.
Like everything, and that's bad.
Yes. And these detoxes, I mean, like, there's no science that supports that any of these detoxes work. Now, you're going to say, well, look, yeah, you're part of the problem. Your Western medicine and your training obviously didn't help you do all this stuff. Go talk to anyone that's recommended a detox that's not making money. Like, their special vitamins that detox you or something like that.
Yeah,
it just, frankly, you have to live the right life. You can't take 10 or 20 years of bad behavior and get rid of it in a weekend detox.
Right.
And I just think that our focus, and you know how I think we can agree that we both feel about this, that we would rather you make incremental, small lifestyle changes over time, and eventually kind of, I guess we'll call it, detox your body from a lot of bad behaviors and things.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, most humans that I know have a few little things that are constantly detoxing their system. Their liver and their kidneys are constantly doing exactly that. That, like, you already have a detox product that clears your stuff. And so feeding it well and allowing your body to function properly, like, you've got the equipment to detox.
Well, I just think, and anything that's done at the extreme is not maintainable, and it's most likely not going to be healthy. So, once again, if you listen to this and you're like, look, I've done these detoxes or I've done my juice cleanse and all that stuff, and it's just so amazing, I feel so amazing afterwards, and all stuff. Well, good for you. But I don't think there's anything anecdotally in clinic or anything scientifically that would support the claims that this is actually long or short term going to be better
solution to anything.
Yeah. So if you're talking about, hey, I really want to add more fruits and veggies and antioxidant type, strong, heavy antioxidant type foods into your diet, we're all for it, right? We push the fruits and veggies and everything else that's, really good for you. And those do have antioxidants. But as far as doing this as a fad, weekend, 2 weeks, 1 month, big juice cleanse, fad cleansing, detox. Not only does the science not support it, so that myth has been busted, but we don't support anything that you can't, really kind of stick with more long-term.
Yeah.
And
Busted.
I say we, but I mean, I think that you feel that way, but I'm so passionate about it because I just get asked about it all the time.
I feel like I'm like poking you with a stick when I say even talk about this.
It's just because I've watched people literally throw thousands of dollars away. And these are not people that have thousands of dollars to throw away, and who really does, right? But it's just hard to watch that because they ended up doing it maybe even a few times, thousands of dollars, all that time. And here they end up back at the same place they started at, wondering why it didn't fix their, inflammatory bowel disease, or whatever they're trying to get fixed. So frustrating to watch.
Okay. All right. So if that felt like poking with a stick, here's one. And I think we've actually talked about this before.
Sure.
But let's just we're going to rehash some of this, some of this is a little review. We'll call this a review lesson. Myth. This will be I think it's our final myth for tonight. All right. Are you ready for this?
Yeah. I just want to apologize ahead of time. I am horrible at following scripts. Like,
that's all right.
We talk about what we're going to talk about, and then of course I lose
different stuff. Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. I mean, we just talk. All right. So here's the myth. And again, I feel like just saying this out loud, I'm poking you in the eye. All right. GLP-1 drugs. So we're talking about semaglutide, tirzepatide, your Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound,
Mounjaro,
those
soon to be retatrutide.
In fact, where people are finding it online and using it.
Sure.
And we're talking to them. And anyway, so those GLP-1 drugs mean you don't need to diet or exercise.
Yeah. Why would you?
The shot does all the work, and lifestyle no longer matters.
Just get on a shot. Your problems will be fixed.
I can't even say it with a straight face.
No,
it's
wild.
The thing is, here's the thing with this myth is there are some people that's true for. Yep. Like I know a handful of people that they start a GLP-1 shot and they're like, this is great. I eat whatever I want, which talking to them that their quantity that they're able to consume is less.
Yep.
And they lose a bunch of weight and they're like, I'm not doing anything different.
Yeah.
But I think that's the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
And it's not the best way to proceed as if you're looking for overall health. And that's I think our big thing is we're not just looking for a number on a scale. Yeah. We're looking for body composition changes that make you healthier and increase your longevity.
We are not looking as the GLP-1 as the solution. We actually are looking at the lifestyle changes as the solution, and the GLP-1 to help you.
It's a tool
with that process. It's just a tool of it. If you do it the other way around, let's just pretend for whatever reason, financially, I don't know, GLP-1s get ripped off the market for some odd reason. We find out they cause something weird and no one can take them anymore for whatever reason.
Oh my goodness.
Do you have any lifestyle changes that you've been working on in with a GLP-1?
Yeah.
That you can say, hey, I can keep this up. I can keep this up. I can do this. And so really that's not why we promote that. But the truth is that, okay, first of all, skinny does not mean healthy. Yeah. So people that are like you talk about, and I have patients in my clinic that probably, maybe if they were willing to tell me the truth, they probably get the medication. They maybe don't make much effort on their end.
Everyone who goes to the clinic and here's Greg on this is like,
I know they're
like Greg says, I'm a liar.
I'm a liar. You're a liar.
Yeah,
no,
you're all liars.
So it just ultimately comes down to sometimes we don't always share everything with our medical provider. Yeah. I accept and acknowledge that I don't always probably get told exactly the truth. And I know that they're not doing that because they don't like me or something like that. It's more so probably not wanting to hear about it. And I get that. So all I would say though is that skinny does not mean healthy, and that your chance of regaining weight without making lifestyle changes, if you ever do choose or are forced to get off a GLP-1 medication, the chances of you regaining that weight are significantly higher. And I know there's studies that support that. I can't cite one off the top of my head, but I can tell you, doing this for the years that I've done it, if you are not willing to make the lifestyle changes, then without the medication, it can be rough. And you get off, you will gain that weight back usually rather quickly. And once again, the weight you did lose, if you're not staying active and doing the lifestyle things, keeping your protein up, getting your water, much higher risk for side effects on the medication, and much higher risk for losing muscle and bone density. And so if your goal is to lose muscle and bone density, I guess
that's what you should do, is just
Yeah,
do the
just-
shot.
just do the
don't
shot.
exercise.
never
Don't-
just starve yourself. Don't move.
Whatever. Okay. Educational and informational purposes only. And this is not educational
Please
or
don't.
informational. Don't do any of these things.
Don't do any of that. So we're obviously being sarcastic.
Big fans of the lifestyle things that really do make the difference. And again, the GLP-1 medicines, amazing. We are huge advocates.
Huge.
As a tool, like a tool in your tool belt to be used in order to do the things that really matter and are sustainable and make you healthier.
Sure.
Right.
It's it goes without being said. I mean, we are definitely about the whole picture here. We don't want to just one sliver of the picture and say that that's the whole thing. So the GLP-1s, even any other weight loss medications, truly this really applies to. If you can do the things with the medication, not only do they tend to usually work much better for people, because not everyone does just go way down. Some people really have to work at this, even with the GLP-1 medications. It's not, for the patients that I have that know 3 people that are on them that are just, their weight's just falling off, and they're like, why isn't it doing that for me?
Why isn't it doing it for me?
And those are the ones that are frustrated, that are looking for solutions. And really, it's like, I mean, you can only get to a certain point where you can only up the GLP-1 medication to so high,
right?
And then it comes down to the lifestyle stuff. So when we can have that lifestyle stuff implemented and working on that, that's where we see the biggest bang for our buck. And then the GLP-1s are really just obviously assisting with all of that and helping all of that kind of work and process better.
Yeah.
So,
okay, myth busted. The GLP-1 drugs are a tool, not the means, or not the end in and of themselves. Don't treat them that way. All right. So I guess that's all our myths. That's all the ones I wrote down.
Okay. No, I think that's a good go.
Yeah. Are you thinking? I'm looking at some of my little jots I wrote down. Yeah. Calories.
Yeah.
We talked about some of the little kernels of truth that some of these have. Yeah, I'd be interested to know which of these myths people believed the most or the longest.
I agree. And it's interesting because it's been, it's like some of the myths are not just like from like influencers or things like that. A lot of these myths are actually stuff that, really has been even taught in schools, or like truly like even the government has been
some of the
conspiracy guy, but the food pyramid is not the greatest example of like how it was, is like really not a great example of like actually how we should kind of be eating. But it's just a lot of it. You just have to obviously, I think the biggest thing with all of these is that there's not just one solution to any problem. You need to look at this as like a multiple solutions for a very complex system. Yeah. It's not just one thing. It's not just get on a shot. It's not just exercise, right? Like that's what a lot of these talk about. It's not just a cleanse. Like if you want to look at this as like, hey, I need to look at this as a whole, and we need to work on all the things. Then I think that's really what's going to be your best bang for your buck. And that's really what science, and really in clinic watching this happen, that's really really where you're going to get your best bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Because
and that's why I think that's why we are passionate about talking about these things, is because we've seen that's what is effective, and that's what help people feel better. Not just aim for a number on a scale, but just feel a lot better and healthier, and live their healthier, better life.
So don't get drug into the fads. We'll come up. We'll try to do some of these additional myths as things come up and go along. I'm sure there's another handful of myths that we could do in a whole other episode.
I'll start collecting more. We'll do more myths.
But these are the ones that kind of came up for us that we wanted to hit, and because they just come up in clinic all the time. And
they do.
And
in different ways. It's not like everybody comes in, hey, I heard this thing or whatever. It's just people's behavior over time, or I grew up this way, or this is what my mom taught me, or I learned it in Weight Watchers, or not to, whatever. I mean, like different program. People have, how many people do you know in their 50s that have been through, Jenny Craig, Weight Watchers, all the name brand,
Yep.
kind of tried this. And there's little tweaks of some of these myths. I think they get perpetuated. Anyway, no more myths.
No more myths. We'll keep on myth busting as we go along. I think every episode we probably always do talk about a little bit of like what is thought to be and what actually is reality. And we'll always try to leave you with what the science says, but also then what we see in all practicality. Because sometimes the science and the practical advice is not always necessarily perfectly aligned.
Yeah.
But I think that finding the balance between the two is really where the magic happens.
Yep. Great. Okay. Well, let us all be healthier ever after. We will be back next week talking about, I don't know, should we do the insulin next week?
I can do it.
We're going to talk about something fun. I'm excited about it. Anyway, cheers.
See you next week.